So we have already the Department of Finance and Administration, Secretary Walters here, Secretary Preston, Mark White is in for Secretary Gillespie, Secretary Fetcher, Secretary Key, Bill Gossage, Senator Wallace, and someone else is trying to connect. I just don't want to get started too early before we have everybody assembled. I know Representative Jean is going to join us. He often joins by phone. We might just give it a minute. I don't think our meeting's going to take terribly long. It's probably going to be pretty quick today. So if y'all don't mind, we'll just wait for a couple of minutes to make sure that others are joining us. And we are live for our meeting. And I did post all of our documents to the webpage. If y'all need to ever look back at anything, we do have a webpage on the governor's website, and all of the documents for every meeting are in the various links related to the dates where we meet. I see a Galaxy A715G. Is that one of our steering committee members? I just would like to...
Jean.
Oh, hey, Representative Jean. I was looking for your phone number. Okay, I'm glad you're here.
I hope you don't run out of minutes, Lane.
Well, I probably will.
Is Lane the Galaxy A715G, whatever that means?
Yes, he is.
Outer space.
And looky there. Thank you, Jeremy, for changing it to his proper name.
You know, the thing in the news these days is UFOs. He could be a UFO with that kind of a tag.
Yes, so.
Well, I'm going to get on that flight to the space next year, see.
Good. Good luck. Have fun with that.
Zoom on those things?
Okay, so we are still missing Dr. Bledsoe, Secretary Jamie Cook, Senator Irvin, and I know she accepted the meeting. She may be tied up with that other. And Senator Joyce Elliott, our new member, she accepted the meeting. Representative Michelle Gray, they all accepted the meeting. So if y'all are okay.
Madam Chairman, do we have a quorum?
I think we have a quorum. I see a quorum. So if y'all are all right with that, I think I'll go ahead so we can at least review the minutes. I'll welcome everyone, and then when and if they're able to join, I'll welcome them again. But I did want to recognize that Senator Elliott has been added to our committee. As you know, Will Bond is no longer in the legislature. So Senator Elliott was asked to replace him, and I appreciate them. Also, I just wanted to say thank you all for your work, and I appreciate the opportunity to miss meeting in April. I know everybody else was really busy. We all were busy with the legislature, so it's nice to take a month off. So we'll meet today, and then I think we'll meet again in June. We'll talk about that later on. So we did circulate the minutes from the March 16th meeting. I might have saved them as March 19th, so my apologies for that. Did y'all have a chance to review those? Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you. Motion to approve the minutes by Representative Jean. Thank you, Secretary Fetcher. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? All right. Our minutes have been approved. Thank you. I circulated on our meeting invite the spreadsheet fund balance that we received from Department of Finance and Administration. And they are here to talk with us about where we are. Yesterday, I sent the update from the 17th, and then today I gave the update for today, because it changes every day. We're constantly getting requests for reimbursement and requests for expenses. Hi, Dr. Bledsoe. I'm glad you've joined us.
Hey, good to be here.
You haven't missed much. We have approved the minutes, and We only are missing a couple of people from our committee, Secretary Cook, Senators Irvin and Elliott, and Representative Gray and Representative Allen. So we're hopeful that they'll be able to join. Secretary Walther, do you want to go ahead and tell us what our status is and our current funding status and where we are?
I would be delighted to do that. We're looking at the end of the money, the $1.25 billion that we started out with way back in 2002. I'm 2000 and I'm getting ahead of myself. We have distributed $1.178,836,986.33 billion to the agencies. No, actually, they've spent that amount of money. They have $35 million to spend that has already been allocated to for a total of $1.214,524,941.17 has been allocated to the agencies for CARES Act expenditures. The remaining balance before interest is $35,487,000. We've earned $565 million, $1,000 in, no, I can get it, in interest for an adjusted value of $36,052,294. That amount of money is adequate to finance the request that we have on the agenda today for cybersecurity. If we do the $33,500,000, the remaining balance will be $2,552,294.71.
Thank you.
So that's the report that I gave you from DFA, and so we'll have about $2.5 million left for additional expenditures.
Very good. Thank you. That's great news. Thank you so much. I have been impressed all along watching this, how much interest that we have been able to build. So over $500,000 in interest is great. That's more money that we can allocate to projects and to help people who are related.
Thank you. I'm sure that's due to the treasurer and Mr. Lothian and his team staying vigilant and making sure that the money's invested properly and ready for distribution at the same time.
Yes. Thank you so much to your team and to the Treasury for doing that. So we have also, I wanted to make sure y'all knew we were joined by Senator Irvin. I appreciate you joining, and Representative Michelle Gray. I was going to check and see who else, if anybody else joined while we were giving that report. Okay, I think we're good. I'd like to move on to our next, now that we know that we do have the funding available, we'll move on to ratification of our transformation and shared services request that we had approved back in November. I attached the minutes. I thought that might be helpful for y'all to see on Wednesday, November 18th in our meeting when we voted to approve the request for cybersecurity and the data center optimization, the request for $33.5 million. We voted to approve it contingent on funds becoming available and the deadline to expend the funds being extended past the December 30th deadline. So both of those things have occurred, and I just wanted to bring this back to the committee so that you could see for sure that we have the funding before we actually start the project. And I also asked for Secretary Fetcher and DIS to provide us with an update on the project. So Secretary Fetcher.
Thank you, Secretary Smith. I have invited Director Jonathan Askins on to this steering committee meeting. He is the new director of the Department of Information Systems, for those of you that have not met Jonathan yet. We're still asking for the same amount, which is $33.5 million. But if any of you would like to hear an overview of the project again, Director Askins can give us that.
Question.
Secretary Fletcher,
Yes, sir.
Lane Jean, kind of refresh my memory. What is the timeline to getting all this cybersecurity installed, and how many months or years will this take?
I believe Director Askins can answer that a little bit better, but
Okay.
Walter, what are the guidelines around the money? Was it extended to the end of this year?
That's correct.
Yes, so we will expend the funding through the end of this year.
To December 31st.
Yes, sir.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead, Senator Urban.
So just maybe probably a question of the chair. We've actually already approved this, so I'm not sure what action that we would really need to take other than just to say, unless you're looking for something, I think, and there may be others that have questions. I mean, I do understand the project, and I don't think it's necessary to review that at this time. I do appreciate Secretary Fletcher bringing people along, but since we've already taken a motion and those two targets that we set forth have already been met, what action does this steering task force actually need to take at this point?
Thank you, Senator Urban. I agree that we don't really have an action to take. It was basically, I wanted to provide an update to the committee because we have, we were waiting for these activities to occur. We knew that we had the funding available and we did know about the extension. So I just wanted to make sure that we had an update to the committee and then provide any questions that they may have.
Yeah, I mean, and so, I mean, the only thing that I would say is I think it would be probably beneficial to our task force to kind of do some sort of a review of either this project later on down the road to say, did we check the box? Did we meet the targets? Was everything expended the way that we thought it was going to be expended? And that might also be the case with some of the other expenditures that we have out there, so that we have kind of a final wrap up of those projects and we can kind of check those boxes. That's just a suggestion for down the road.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And that is my plan. We will, and we'll get through this and then I'll kind of explain what the plan will be.
Okay. Sorry.
No, you're good. Thank you.
Jumped ahead.
Any questions specifically about the plan? I'm thrilled that we have the funding available and that we'll be able to complete this project. So is there any other questions? Jonathan, was there anything you would like to add?
Not unless I have some questions. Okay. I'm fine.
Good. And I did circulate the updated information that y'all submitted to the committee, and it's been posted on our website. So hopefully everybody has read that. Okay, good. Well, thank you. Well, what the activity that will happen after this is I will prepare after each meeting when we have gone through and made requests and approved items to make recommendations. I prepare a letter to send to the governor identifying what the request is and that we have approved it. And then we send it on to him so that he can sign off on that because it's actually his determination. Then it receives legislative approval. But I think, and then it goes through the legislative process. So I just wanted to make sure y'all understood that process. So I think we're good. Thank you. Thank you, Secretary Fletcher. And I look forward to watching this project develop.
Me too. Thank you.
Thank you. Then the next thing I did want to recognize, Dr. Romero is on the line. I believe I thought I said that at the beginning, but I just wanted to make sure y'all knew that Department of Health, Dr. Miro is here with us too. We do have a couple of reports, or one report on an ongoing project. Secretary Preston, you're here. And I just wanted to let y'all know I approved this without discussing it with you guys, but I thought it would be in our best interest to do so. What happened was the contract with the National Guard, they wanted to switch that to just replace with a contractor to perform the services that the National Guard had been performing. No dollar change. So I had let Secretary Preston know that that would be okay. Did I cover that correctly, Secretary Preston?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate your willingness to work with us on that. And again, just as a refresher, this was 3 months to bring in guard help, and then it was supplemented by some private outsourcing staff to help with a backlog within Department of Workforce Services related to unemployment insurance and the PUA, and to get through some of the ID verification processes that we needed to. So the dollar amount stayed the same, but it was just, instead of 3 months of the guards support, it was 1 month of the guard support. And then we were able to supplement the other 2 months with additional support from an outside staffing source. So that was the update. And then I really appreciate you working with us. I just wanted to make sure that was brought to the committee's attention. Then I see you have on here for number 5 to talk about items that go past June 30th. So I'll just mention briefly that we will have 2 related to Department of Workforce Services already been approved. One is our contract with Maximus on our call center. We actually, we have them until the end of September. We pay them monthly. So our final bill for them will come in October. So our funds won't be expended by June. So that's one item. And then the other is on the UI modernization, which is in process now, but we anticipate final production by September 30th. Handing over to the state by the end of October, and then a final bill coming in November. So those are 2 ongoing projects that will be wrapped by the end of the year, but final billing October and then November for those 2 respective projects for DWS. So just wanted to put that on the radar screen. And thank you for the time today, Secretary Smith.
Thank you so much. Does anybody have any questions about those activities? Okay, and we will plan to have a meeting in June, and at that time we will review the projects that haven't spent funding. Our fiscal year, the end of the fiscal year will be June 30th, so that's kind of a magic date for all of our projects to make sure that they have appropriation for the next year. So we will review all of those. Most of them have been clipping along at a great pace. You'll see that on the spreadsheet that you have. We have anticipation that there may be some where we'll be able to have some dollars returned. And so if that's the case, we'll know about that at the next meeting, and then we'll be able to determine what to do with not only the 2.5, I believe what Secretary Walther mentioned, plus the other amounts that may be able to be returned. We do have a couple of additional requests that will come, and we can review those. I believe there's one from Department of Correction and DPS, Department of Public Safety. So I think we can address those in June. If there's any, let's see, what else? I think that's pretty much it for what I had. I think that's pretty much it for what I had on our agenda. I did want to let y'all know that I'm sure you've all heard, and Secretary Walther can speak to this too if you'd like to hear more, but there is someone calling. There is another committee that is reviewing the rescue funds, and those are separate funds. We do not have to deal with that. And Secretary Walther is leading up that group, but we needed to remain separate related to the funding that we're looking at for CARES Act, because we have already allocated that. We have funds coming back, and so we'll be dealing with those funds, and then the other will be happening separate. So anybody have anything else to address or any issues to bring up? One. there's somebody. I see somebody's picture. Oh, Secretary Cook, you joined us. Thank you. Glad you're here. Okay, well, if no one has anything else to discuss, then I guess we'll be adjourned until June, and I will make sure that we don't overlap, that we've met on Tuesday this time because there'll be the Rescue Act meeting tomorrow at the same at 4. So we may use Tuesdays now, and I'll probably try to pull some of you to make sure who's available for holidays and that sort of thing. So might shoot out a message to me if you know if you're going to be gone the middle of June. That's what I'm kind of thinking.
Madam Chairman,
Yes, sir.
are we about to set a record?
No, because I think we did this before.
Oh,
We did a
crud.
shorter meet. How long was that shorter meeting? It might have been, well, it's 21 minutes. Maybe it is shorter. Thank
Have
you.
a great
Secretary Walker.
day.
We might have set a record. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. We're adjourned.